Thank you, Madam President. As we count down the remaining days of session, we are viscerally reminded that there is no end to the fight for our rights. In light of the horrific rollbacks, the inaction on a federal level, New York must once again take up the mantle and lead where other levels of government have failed. We rely on Congress and the Supreme Court to set the floor for our nation, the bare minimum standards to be enforced for our general well-being. They've failed this mandate. As the federal government falls short on basic voter protections, our activist Supreme Court continuously issues rulings that permit racial discrimination and voter suppression to flourish. Republican lawmakers have been waging a war to weaken the Voting Rights Act, eviscerating our electoral protections at the state level and keeping Americans from exercising their most fundamental rights. Standing here today in 2022, I think about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s 1957 speech. It was called "Give Us the Ballot." In that speech, he implored leaders to expand the franchise to Black Americans so that their voices could finally be heard. And what he said was, give us the ballot, and we'll no longer have to worry the federal government about our basic rights. Give us the ballot, and we'll fill our legislative halls with men, and I'd say, he would have said, and women of goodwill. Madam President, how ironic that today, 65 years after Dr. King delivered that speech, America is once again asking to give us the ballot so that we can make the most fundamental choices, the ones by which we hold power accountable, we ensure laws and regulations truly reflect the will of the people. There's nothing democratic about a handful of people unilaterally gutting laws that are supported by the majority of Americans. That's why the leaked Supreme Court decision that would reverse Roe is our 5-alarm fire. The criminalization of women's bodies and of doctors fulfilling their sacred oath is only the beginning of what we could lose. Not a single freedom that we currently enjoy is safe or guaranteed unless I'm told it was in the original document, which is kind of scary. Too many think that they can steal our democracy without us noticing until it's too late. But we in this chamber will not stand idly by while these fundamental rights are chipped away around us. We'll no longer wait for Congress to act. States are the last line of defense against these authoritarian trends and the final check against an unaccountable federal government. New York has led the nation before. We will do it again. Our passage of the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Act and the strengthening of our reproductive health protections serve as a model for other states to follow. I'm proud that New York is standing as a true bastion of civil rights in spite of the anti-democratic rollbacks being set forth by Republicans across the nation. Our state is a long-standing safe harbor for those seeking refuge, and we will open our arms once again to fellow Americans in need. With these legislative templates, I urge other states to take up similar measures and forge a true network of destination states across the U.S. Representative John Lewis once said, "Freedom is not a state, it's an act. It is not some enchanted garden perched high on a distant plateau where we can finally sit down and rest. Freedom is the continuous action we all must take." I commend my colleagues, my fellow lawmakers, for taking these actions, and I urge all of us to build on this momentum for the fight ahead. We'll not stop, we won't rest until every right that we hold dear or guaranteed for every American is here in New York. Madam President, I vote aye.